Monday afternoon, the Audible is on the air. Good afternoon. I'm Kim Bokamper. Joining me, Wes Welker, former Dolphin, former New England Patriot, and now kind of scanning the sidelines here at practice. You're out there just about every day, Wes.
Yeah, absolutely. We're just kind of hanging out. I live not too far away, so and been with Gase for 2 years there in Denver. So he's been nice enough to let me kind of come out here and check everything out. And
it's tough to get away, huh?
It is. It is. I mean, it's but it's nice. It's nice to just have a place to go and kind of get away from the family life just a little bit and see some football out there.
We had Danny was in here a couple of days ago, and we were talking and talking about that a little bit, and talking about Adam in particular. And it was the day that Peyton Manning was out here. I believe you were out here that afternoon too. But to me, it says a lot about who Adam is to have guys like Peyton, like you. I saw John Lynch out there today.
Right.
Different guys that just come out because basically they're friends with Adam and they want to kind of come out and support him. And certainly the guys on the team that look around and see you guys out there go, wow, that's, it's certainly got to give them a lot more respect for their head coach.
Absolutely. I think it goes to show what we think of Adam and just the way he's been able to kind of go about his business and being underneath him and getting to know him and how well versed he is with the whole football mentality and his offense and everything he does with it. So he just does such a great job. I think it's kind of a tribute to him and what a great job he does. Yeah,
I think so. I think it's pretty clear to see out there. Hey, we're going to be with you for about a half hour here. We'll go ahead and take your questions here on Facebook Live. Just go ahead and send them in. I'll go ahead and we'll ask the questions, get them out there, and get your conversation. We are trying to make this interactive. We want you to be a part. We want you to kind of steer us in the direction that you want us to go, and that's what we're going to do throughout most of the season. All right, let me throw some numbers at you, Wes. Yeah. When you were here in Miami in 04, from 04 to 06.
Right.
When you walked out of the door here and went up to New England, did you think when you ended your career, you'd be a 5-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro, you'd have 903 career catches, 9,924 yards, 50 touchdowns, 5 years with 100 catches or more. Oh, no, by the way, you still hold the Miami records for all-time kickoff returns, kickoff return yards, and punt returns. I'd say you've been a pretty busy guy since you walked out of the door here.
It's been pretty good. I mean, I knew my stats would go up once I got there with Tom Brady and that offense in New England.
It was a perfect fit, wasn't it?
It was.
It really was. And the way you fit into that offense and the way they utilize you in that offense, I mean, you really couldn't ask for. You almost created a position there that has lived on with the others, with the Danny Woodheads and the Edelmans and all those kind of doing the same things.
Right. No, it has. It's kind of been the perfect fit for me as far as everything just kind of came together. Quarterback, offense, receiver, just kind of all coming together, and it was a great time. I mean, and although I was sad to leave Miami, at the same time, I knew it was going to be a great opportunity.
What was your thought process when you went through that? When you decided to go up to New England and the whole thing, and you came in undrafted by San Diego.
Right.
You come over here and really you get your first opportunity here.
Right.
And there's always an emotional tie for an NFL guy, whether you were drafted to a team or you made your first impact with that team, where that stays with you. Right. And then you leave. Well, what was going through your mind in that thought process?
I was, just because it was New England and they had all that success and being with Tom Brady and seeing how those guys play up there, I was actually really excited about it at the time. At the same time, it is one of those deals where whenever you start somewhere, you always think, you feel like you're a guy that should stay at a place your whole career, and you want to be that guy. And doesn't always happen that way. Hardly ever happens that way anymore.
Now it doesn't. The way the league is now with free agency, to me, sometimes it's almost a bit of a mercenary league where guys are going here and there.
Right.
But that's just the nature of the beast. It's just different than what it is now. And speaking of that, Mickey Letterman asks, hey, Wes, how do you look back at your time with the Dolphins and your memories there?
It brings back a lot of memories, especially being out here on the practice field and just remembering how big of a grind it was. And you hear these guys kind of complain sometimes about the heat and about practice. And this was back when Nick Saban was coming from college into the NFL. And I mean, still doing the 2-a-days. I just remember going in motion sometimes, and the sweat would just be building up. Your shoes would just start squirting out all the sweat, just sitting there running around. But it was, I just saw it as a great time for me, though, as far as learning the game and really just getting that opportunity, and that opportunity to want to go out there and do my job. Shoot, it was fun, but it was just funny to look back at just how young I was, how naive I was. But at the same time, how fresh I was too.
I remember when you were here, because you kind of were under the radar, right? You just kind of getting your feet on the ground and getting things going. Your second year played really, really well here. Had your first full year, your second full year here. Did a lot of good things for the football team, but you were still kind of having fun and just kind of could do what you wanted to do. And then all of a sudden, you go and join the Beatles up in New England, and the notoriety that came with the way you're playing certainly had to change your life completely.
Oh, completely. Yeah, it was a 180. You come into a place, Boston fans are out of control anyways. I know there's a bunch probably that live down here in Miami too, from the Northeast, but it was a total different deal for me going up there. I remember one night I had gone out, and one of my buddies knew Justin Timberlake, so we're going out. And so I guess I ended up in the gossip section of going out with Justin Timberlake. And I'm like, oh, crap. And Coach Belichick pulls me aside, and he's like, listen, you haven't caught a punt. You haven't caught a catch. You haven't done anything. Yeah. Can we stay out of the gossip section? Yeah. And I remember I was kind of hoarse at the time from staying out a little too late. And I was like, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, you're listening to the Audible. We got to take your Facebook questions as we go in. We're with Wes Welker. And Wes, let's talk a bit about more when you were here with the Dolphins and what you learned about becoming a professional and learning how you have to get things done in certain ways if you want to be successful within this league.
Yeah, it was great for me. I think you always look at the older guys on that team and see guys that have had success, been to Pro Bowls, done great things. And for me, Zach Thomas and Junior Seau were both here at the time. And whatever they did, that I just tried to mimic whatever they did as far as the way they did things throughout the day, the way they studied. I mean, Zach would be here till 10, 11 at night watching film, having trainers go and get him food just because there's no more food left out here because he's here so late. And I remember every Friday, both those guys would get IVs before game. I like, shoot, if those guys get IVs, I'm getting IVs too. So I just, slowly tried to pick up things from guys I respect and that you see that do it the right way. And I think that's what you have to do as a young player is at the end of the day, just watch the older guys who've been really good at it and had success. What are they doing? Yeah,
you're out here. You've been out here almost every day, every practice watching. You look at this football team out there, and you're seeing those guys that are trying to learn how to become pros, the young guys, trying to figure it out. And sometimes figuring it out is, hey, how do I figure out how to stay on the field?
Right.
And not, how to stay healthy, how to be ready when my number's called, whether it's on a practice day or a game day. And that's something you see in every training camp from young guys. They're not used to doing some of the things they're being asked now.
Right.
And it's tough for them to stay on the field, and they got to figure it out.
Yeah. I've always told all those young guys, the best investment you can make is in yourself. Yep. So however many massages you need to get, stretching, pay somebody, chiropractor, paying for whatever you need to do to get out there on the field. I just tell them the best investment you can make is in yourself and making sure that you're ready to go out there and perform at the highest ability possible.
Yeah, it's funny. The league now is with masseuses, with people that are going to make sure you're eating the right thing. Chefs, guys have personal chefs. Everything, like you said, that if you're driving a race car, you want to make sure that car is in the top physical, top shape that you can get it. Absolutely. Same for your body, because your body is your vehicle here.
Yeah, you don't put regular unleaded in there. No.
Hey, let's talk a little bit about some of the stuff that you've seen out here on the football field. When you watch this offense under Adam, you know this offense back and forth. Yep. After spending a couple years with him, not very many changes.
No. It's the same stuff, and really trying to put in a lot of the base stuff. Some of the key plays, go-to type plays, They're kind of the basis of the offense, and then being able to expand from there. But they're still in the early stages of really trying to bring all that stuff together and making sure that they have those key plays in place, as far as being able to just do the basic stuff out there and just kind of expand off there. But it's going pretty good so far. Each day just getting better, and that's
been a rough couple of days for them. They offensively had a tough day in the scrimmage, and I think today they followed up with a little bit of a sloppy practice out there. A lot of balls left on the ground, and those meetings after practice, I'm sure, weren't the most pleasant meetings to be in.
Yeah, he was pretty positive about it, and I think that's what Adam does such a great job of, is he knows when he needs to jump on guys, and he knows when he needs to be positive. And he's basically just telling them, let's just keep working one day at a time. Don't worry about how it looks now. Just worry about tomorrow, all right? Or today, but worry about practice tomorrow, and make sure we're getting better on that day. And these days just start adding up, and then next thing you know, you're at the spot you want to be at.
Yep, no doubt. Hey, Jeff, of course, you're going to join the coaching staff, Wes? That's what he's asking.
I don't know. No, not at this point.
That's a commitment.
That's a bit. I like being able to not have the total obligation right now. So I come in as I please, I leave as I please. But I'm not ready to spend those long hours quite yet. So I'm kind of enjoying my time and enjoying having a place to go work out and see some football and kind of be around the guys as well.
Yeah, it's tough to get away. Hey, Matt here says, how do you feel about Jakeem Grant, little guy 5'5", being an undersized receiver, and kind of that's what everyone talked about, you being a little bit of an undersized receiver, and you made the most of it. Young guy here that's got a good opportunity in front of him, kick punt returner that really could be a guy you look at matchups out there, put him on some linebackers, could make some noise out there. Yeah, no, absolutely. We both came from Texas Tech, same type of offense. I think just from that aspect, it's going to take some time, but that kid has a lot more juice than I ever did. He has a lot more juice than a lot of people out there. But he's doing some really good things out there, and he listens, and so explosive. So it's going to take some time for him to really learn the offense and learn how to run routes and coverages and how to run them against different coverages. But he's off to really a pretty good start, and I think well ahead of even where I was probably at that point. We'll kind of see how it goes along. Every day he seems to come up with one of those plays where you go, wow, that's pretty special right there. For sure. Whether it's a quick move, whatever it is, but you see it in him. Oh, yeah. He's so explosive. And acceleration, from 0 to 60 is pretty good. Yeah. Hey, you were listening to the Audible here. You can go ahead and get your questions in. We'll get to them. We're going to try to get to as many questions as we can. Today, Ayu Parrish says, Mr. Welker, how do you think Devontae Parker will do this year as a receiver? First of all, he's got to get healthy and get out there. And he's one of the guys that needs to figure out how you need to get your work in, but still stay healthy, because it doesn't do any good if you're staying on the sidelines. Absolutely. I mean, that's kind of the big part. They usually always have a sign somewhere that says, you can't make the club in the tub. You also can't help the club if you're getting treatments or whatever. So he's got to get healthy for sure. And I think that's going to be a big part of it. And not only get healthy, but you're going to have to play through some pain. Yeah. And that's just what it is. You'll be sore, all these different things. But he needs to make – when he's out there – oh, yeah, he's special. He's very special. He's one of those guys that are just – there's very few of them. But he just got to get there. He's got to become a pro this year. When he's out there, he's one of those guys that can help a quarterback look a lot better. Absolutely. Because you put a ball up in the air, he's going to climb the ladder and go after it, and 9 times out of 10, he's going to be the guy that comes down with it. No doubt. Well, he has one of those frames that are, one of those rare things of Demaryius Thomas, Julio Jones, those type of people. They're just very rare. Yeah. Not many people can do what they do. A lot of people can run option routes in the slot and do the stuff I did, but just physically, they're so much bigger, so much faster. They can really help out an offense, and they're definitely going to need them this year. Do you like the direction that the league is going in as far as their offense, how they've allowed the offenses to open up, made it tougher on defenses, got scoring up, done all the things. And it's funny how the game has changed from a standpoint of, very few teams have fullbacks anymore.
Right.
And the tight end has become a much more position of emphasis.
Right.
On you look at all the teams that get into the Final Four, get into the playoffs, tight ends have played a big part in their offense over the last half a dozen years or so, and I don't see that abating any.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that tight end position is so crucial. And the game has evolved where it's so much more scoring, so much more throwing. But at the same time, it's tough to win with just a receiving tight end. Yeah. That guy's got to be able to block. It's such a mismatch. You see like a guy like Rob Gronkowski, who do you cover him with? Yeah. So it's almost like you have to put a DB on him. Well, he can block too. So all of a sudden you get to put a DB down there instead of a linebacker, and now they're running the football. So it's mismatches like that really help offenses, and being able to do both those things is such a critical part to an offensive success.
You flex those guys out a little bit, and then you declare on them, and
for sure,
and all of a sudden it gives that quarterback the advantage of what he wants to do. So if you've got that guy that can get out and do it. It's been pretty amazing to watch what the way it's going along. Guy asked a question here, Rob Cree. Does Wes, you have any regrets in your playing career?
Oh, any regrets? Yeah, I mean,
that you didn't play for 25 years.
I'm sure. I always win in every game with the mindset of have no regrets and leave everything out there on the field. Do I wish I would have made this play, that play, of course, absolutely. But I don't regret the mindset and the way I went about it, and the intensity and just the way I played throughout my career. There's no regrets on that.
Well, no, I think nobody leaves the game without looking back at certain plays, certain things. If I'd have done this, I'd have done that.
For sure.
But I think you feel good about leaving your career if you can look back at your career and said, I know I played hard every down, and I know I got everything I could out of myself. And I don't think there's anybody that watched you play down here and through the rest of your careir that would say that you didn't get everything out of yourself that you could have on the football field.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, that's the way I feel. So, absolutely.
Hey, when you look at this team from a standpoint of how the team has rallied around, the enthusiasm in this team, defensively, I look out there and I see Ndamukong Suh jumping around and getting emotional and becoming a vocal guy. Cam Wake is out there doing that. And that defense, who's kind of been having their way early in camp, a very spirited bunch out there. It's going to be tough to get this offense to get them where they want to be and get this offense over the top a little bit.
Well, I think that offensive line, this is the best practice they could probably have is against these guys. Yeah. And I don't think they'll face a better group out there in the league than the D-line here in Miami. Yeah. So it's really great work for them. So even though they're not probably doing as well as they probably want to do, I think once they get to regular season games, even some of these preseason games, things are going to slow down for them a little bit just by going against some of these guys that they have up front.
Yep. This is the Audible. I'm Kim Bokamper. This is Wes Welker. We got a little time with you, so go ahead and get your questions in. Richard Washington asks, how do you feel about the Dolphins secondary? Certainly a point of concern for this Dolphin football team, especially at that cornerback spot. I think they're a pretty good position safety-wise, but that cornerback, nickelback, those are going to be critical decisions for this team going forward.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think those guys obviously very young, so they have some growing up to do, and learning the new defense and what the coach wants. So that's going to take some time. But really, the backbone of this defense is going to be that D line. So the only thing that really helps a DB is that pass rush up there. And if you're able to get four guys to get after the quarterback to where it seems like it's a blitz, but you're not having to blitz, so you have those extra guys in coverage. I'm hoping that can help those guys out quite a bit.
It was training camp can become tedious at times, and you get a little overwhelmed with it. And you were a guy that liked to have a little fun, when you're in the locker room.
Right.
Well, what did you do during training camp to kind of cut the tension a little bit to get things loosened up in your locker rooms?
Oh man, I mean, there's been some good ones over the years. You know, we always like to, you know, kind of put eye black inside guys' helmets.
Right.
So, like, they sit there, put it on, they take it off, and everybody's laughing at them,
Right.
and they're like, what?
Right.
You know, so that's one. Usually doing something to, like, Peyton or Tom or somebody just kind of mess with them. Oh, I remember Matt Light had a good one during training camp. The offensive line would always get these scratch-off tickets, lottery tickets, and they'd always scratch them off during our breaks. And so they did it every day for a while, and Matt Light put a fake one in there. And so anyways, Pierre Woods, I think it was like in his second year, free agent guy, so wasn't making
a ton of money.
Yeah. So I think it was like for $250,000. He scratches it off, and Light. What? 250,000, and nobody else really knows about it. So everybody's just jumping up and down, going crazy, and like, what? Read the back. Where do you go? And it's like, you idiot. Like you go to, you're a dumbass, basically. Like, Lane and pick this up.
We had the old. You'd send a guy down. It was during Thanksgiving. You'd send a guy down. Someone would get a letterhead from Publix or something and say, "Hey, pick up your free turkey," and then they'd go to the Publix, and they wouldn't know anything about it. And you're standing there with a turkey at the counter and having to argue about getting your free turkey or
we did that in St. Louis last year. Where they,
training camp is tough. It's a chore to get through.
Oh,
a little less. I would say a little less now, but still, look, the time they put in, and it's a whole different thing because the time they spend during the off season, allows them to do the kind of do the type of work they're doing now. Not quite as strenuous, but still the time there, and you got to find a way to lighten the scene up a little bit.
Absolutely. Sometimes you can just get so serious and so monotonous, and you definitely need. It's always good to have that guy in the locker room to just kind of, get things, like realize, hey, this is just a game.
Yeah.
Like this. And
sometimes the more disgusting, the better it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. 100%. 100%. Absolutely.
Especially you get those offensive linemen involved in.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Chris Benedict, from the few days that you've been in camp, what stands out to you the most?
Oh man. What stands out to me the most? I've been with the receivers for the most part. So really, just watching those guys get better. Yeah. They're such a young group. Yep. And so the strides that they're making, and the things that they're doing and the things they're seeing and realizing have been really cool to see. So it's been pretty encouraging seeing those guys.
And are you sharing anything with them? Are you interacting with them?
Yeah, for sure.
Have you been in the meeting room also?
I have.
With them,
yeah. Sean Jefferson has been really great as far as, hey, say anything you feel like you need to say whenever. And so it's been really cool to work with him and be around. So
it's got to be great for the receivers because Sean, he's got a pretty good resume himself coming in.
Absolutely. No, he's done a great job.
And then to have a guy like you come in and be able to bounce things off.
Right.
It's not a whole lot of coaches that feel strong enough to allow somebody to do that. So it says a lot about him.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And, even when I played, I feel like it was trying to test the boundaries of all that. So it's been really cool of him to, not have an ego and be able to, have me help learn from him and him, we can have these discussions about plays and what he thinks on that, and kind of talk through it, which is, it's great for the team to kind of, figure out what's
and you've
best.
Always been that kind of player that, you know what the system is, exactly what you've got to do. And you want to know it better. So I'm sure you were a guy that asked a lot of questions and probed as much as you could so you could get to know everything that you needed to know to be the type of player that you turned out to be.
For sure. Absolutely. I mean, it was always with the quarterbacks. A lot of times, just as soon as you go through a series, you get back with them. What do you think on this play? What do you think on that play? Just because I want to make sure that I'm on the exact same page as the quarterback of running this route this way against this coverage or this way against that coverage or, kind of their thoughts on everything and kind of go from there.
This is the Audible. We're taking your questions here on Facebook. We'll continue on. Chuck Tinsley, your thoughts on Tannehill and his upside. What do you see out of Ryan? And what do you think from a standpoint of how good he can get?
Yeah. I think his athleticism is top notch as far as mobility and being able to move around and make plays. He can make all the throws, everything out there. I know they're working with him on his timing. As soon as that guy comes open, let it go. And I think that's something he's really been working on. Is just as soon as you hit that back foot, just let that thing rip and just have confidence that you have it there. And you've seen a lot of strides as far as that goes with him, just kind of letting it loose.
Yeah. You've been around the league a long time. It's a big pivotal year for him. Do you sense any of that when you're around Ryan?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, he's working his tail off every single day. He's the first guy in here, last to leave, and he wants it. And that's what you want from your quarterback.
Cameron Craig asked this question: what's Wes's favorite memory playing against the Dolphins?
Playing against the Dolphins, I think the first thing that comes to mind is probably that 99-yarder on Monday Night Football. Was probably
that pissed me off. That wasn't real happy with that one.
I know. I mean, what can you do?
Yeah, you had to do it on our own backyard
exactly.
too.
I know. But, it happens. I'm not going to talk too much trash on it. But,
I thought you were going to say the first time you played and looking across and seeing the Auckland orange and going, man, I wish I was still there. And I guess
well, that's number two.
That's number two. Yeah. All right. Hey, Wes, it's certainly been a pleasure having you here, and certainly a pleasure having you around. You've been on playoff teams. You've been on very good football teams. Is this team, in your mind, how far are they away from? And I'm not talking about being going to a Super Bowl every year, but being a team that can get in the playoffs, and as well as anybody, you get in the playoffs in this league, and you get two wins, and anything happens for you.
100%. Yeah, I mean, it's so early to tell at this point. And I think it's with every team. It's a matter of how much better you get as the year goes on. Because really, I mean, at this point, it's just getting better each day, which is what Coach Gase has been talking about from the get-go. And Coach Belichick would always say a key thing: once we get to November, that's when we need to be playing our best football. Yeah. So even through like September, October, you're still practicing, you're still learning, you're still trying to put it all together. And then once November comes, it's like everything needs to kind of come together at that point and really start playing your best ball down the stretch. So it's a lot to tell at this point, and they're still learning and still getting better. And so we'll just kind of see where it goes from here. But every team kind of has a chance.
As far as you're concerned, personally, are you waiting for the phone to ring? Are you done?
I mean,
never say never.
Like that 5%, maybe. But
it's tough to let go.
It's tough to hang
I'll
up.
follow that up with the Dolphins play their first home game. Will you be there?
If I'm in town, yeah.
And will that be strange?
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so. Yeah, no. Maybe it will be.
So the line's already in the sand there. I moved on and looking at bigger and better things or whatever I can do now.
I'm getting ready to jump over. So.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. So you've got two kids. You've got twins about to turn 1 year old. So you got plenty to do at home. You got your hands full there.
Absolutely, which is why it's nice to get away up here and get to see practice and kind of hang around the guys a little bit. So
you're getting up early and you're doing the changing. There's two. You got to help because there's two.
Yeah, right? I mean, for the most part, I am. So it is kind of nice to get away a little bit, but definitely love being around them and love. Doing all that stuff. So
I know the guys out in the field are happy to see you out there. I know we're happy to see you around, and we're happy to see you stand down here in South Florida. Such good memories of you being here and such horrible memories of you being up in that team up there, but not for you. Good, only good stuff for you. Right. It was a pleasure watching your career and get to play the way you did and play as well as you did. And happy to see those things happen for you. And as I said, happy to have you back here, and certainly happy to have you on the show. And hopefully we can catch you another time.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
Pleasure. That's going to do it for the Audible. We'll be back Wednesday at 4:30. Remember, during training camp, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 4:30. The Audible this Friday will be live from MetLife Stadium up in New Jersey for the Dolphins and Giants. We'll see you next time.